Starting your day off with a take on Vegas you won't get anywhere else.
Hi, I'm Holly Madison.
Hi, this is William Shatner.
It is Larry the Cable Guy, and I listen. Why? Because I'm a good American. So is he. And if you don't listen to him, you need to pack up and leave this country.
This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
Come on, guys!
What up, everybody? Happy Friday. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro, glad you could join us. We've almost gotten through a week of radio changing time slots, 9 a.m. to noon. How does it feel, JD? You a little tired this week? You a little tired this morning?
Yeah, I'm a bit tired. It's going to take me probably another week to fully adjust my chronological clock.
I made the mistake of being out until about 2 in the morning last night.
That was a questionable move.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too good this morning. I'm on about 4 hours of sleep, but don't get me wrong, folks. I'm still going to have the energy when I talk about my favorite subject, which is, of course, Donald Trump. We'll get to that in a second. But coming up here at the bottom of the hour, you might recognize this name because he does a show here at KDWN. Rabbi Yitz Wein will be joining us at the bottom of the hour. And the reason why we wanted him in studio, not just because of this Omar Tlaib Israel controversy that does involve Donald Trump. I'll get to that in a second. But also because, this white supremacist last week arrested for a scheme of wanting to go into synagogues and shooting innocent Jewish people. Hate crimes are on the rise. Make no mistake about it. I want to talk to him about that as well. So the rabbi will be joining us coming up here at the bottom of the hour. We've heard a lot about people storming Area 51. Have we not, JD?
Yes, we've heard quite a bit about that, Brian.
It's been quite a discussion. So Connie West is going to be joining us. Who is she? Well, she works at the Alien Inn in Rachel, Nevada, which is just my understanding, just a few miles away from this area. How are some of these businesses?
Did you say Kanye West?
I did not.
Okay.
I said Connie West. Big difference. I don't think there's any relation, JD. But how are some of these businesses around that area preparing for what could take place? So she'll be joining us. And then in hour number 3, this is going to be a lot of fun. Are you a Harry Potter fan, JD?
Kind of. Sure. I've read one of the books, and I've watched, I think, 3 of the movies.
I don't read books, as you can tell.
I knew that.
Not educated at all. But I did watch a few of the movies. I do enjoy it. So there's a hit show on the Strip at Bally's. Okay? Potted Potter, it's called. And we're going to get some of those cast members to come in. It's like a parody of Harry Potter. It's quite funny, actually. And they've been selling out all over the world, and now they're on the Strip. So we're going to be giving out a couple pairs of tickets. We're going to get a couple guys from that show to come on in hour number 3. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Let's start with certainly what was and is still the biggest story, national story. And, of course, that is Tlaib and Omar. The announcement was made by Benjamin Netanyahu that they're not allowed in Israel. And then we learn late last night that Tlaib is allowed to visit Israel on the condition that she visits her 90-year-old grandmother who lives in the occupied West Bank. So I'll get to that in a second. But now that, this story broke yesterday when we were on the air. So I gave you all the information as I had it. Now that I have a little bit more information, I think I have a better grasp and opinion of this whole situation. And here are my thoughts on it. First of all, Donald Trump in no way, shape, or form should ever be involved in a decision like this. It is an absolute joke. He's taking the side of Israel and Netanyahu and going against 2 congresswomen. Make no mistake about this. In my personal opinion, I don't think this has anything to do with the fact that they've said some anti-Israel comments, and I think it has everything to do with the fact that these 2 women are part of the squad. And these 2 women have been against Donald Trump since day one. These are 2 women that Donald Trump can't stand because they speak out against him. So what does Donald Trump decide to do? Well, here's what he decides to do. Israel, and at least it is our understanding until the last several days, they would have been okay with these 2 congresswomen coming into Israel. But Donald Trump was putting pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu. He was putting pressure on him. In fact, he tweeted out recently that it would be weak if Israel allowed them into the country. This is the president of the United States. This is unprecedented. We've never seen this before. Listen, if Israel wants to make that decision, if Benjamin Netanyahu wanted to make that decision, fine. That's one thing. But make no mistake about this. In my personal opinion, this was a favor to Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been kissing this guy's ass forever with gifts, you name it. It was just a matter of time before Benjamin Netanyahu returned the favor. This is dangerous. This is not good for the country. I don't like Omar. I'm not a fan of hers. She has said some things that you could construe as anti-Semitic. There's no question about that. But Donald Trump getting involved in this discussion, Donald Trump tweeting out to Benjamin Netanyahu that it would be weak if he allowed them in the country, is nothing short of disgusting. Whether you're talking about congresswomen who are not fans of yours or people on the right that are fans of yours, you defend Americans first. You don't take the side of another country and tell them, hey, we shouldn't let these politicians in the country because they said blah, 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 blah about you, when we all know it's Donald Trump and his thin skin, and these two women have been after Donald Trump since day one. And I don't agree with everything they say. But with that being said, for Donald Trump to get involved in this situation, for him to call Israel weak if you don't do this, number one, it shows you the power that Donald Trump has, and it's pretty frightening, number one. And number two,
he is an extremely powerful man.
It's extremely frightening. And number two, it is completely over the top, in my opinion. This was a decision that Benjamin Netanyahu needed to make on his own. It should have had nothing to do with Donald Trump and nothing to do with the fact that these two women are not fans of the president, and clearly they're not. And then, as I said, Tlaib was granted, at least in the last, I believe, 10 hours or so, allowed to visit her 90-year-old grandmother, but she declined.
She has turned it down.
Well, this is really sick to me.
Which is pretty Bush League to me.
I think it's more Bush League what Trump did.
Her grandmother's 90 years old, and instead of visiting her grandmother, she's going to turn it down just to make a point.
Well, I'm not going to question that. That's another issue.
After she put herself in the situation by making the statements that she did.
I'm not going to question that because that's another issue.
That being said, it's really ironic how the send her back chance happened. And okay, we'll send her back, but you can't go there. We can't send you there, but you can go somewhere else. Not back there. But you can go somewhere else. And I don't think that you said put Americans first, but I mean, is he going to put Americans who don't like America first? Which is basically what Omar and Tlaib have stated on multiple times in the last month.
I think that is a very
and you mentioned how.
Hold on a second.
I'm still talking, but
right.
you mentioned how Netanyahu. I mean, this is an ally situation, Brian, and what Trump is doing is he's leveraging the power that he has. He's basically setting precedent and showing other politicians, other Congress people on the Democratic Party and the Democratic side, that if you attack me, I have the ability to do things that can affect your life.
And you don't think,
and that's exactly what he's doing right here.
And you think that is appropriate for the president to act like that?
I'm not suggesting that it's appropriate, but what exactly did he say?
He went after Benjamin Netanyahu and basically called Israel weak if they allow them into the country. I could pull up the tweet, but I know that basically that's what he said.
So he made a statement that, in his opinion, Israel would be weak. And
Israel, he's threatening.
And Israel agreed with that. And they said, okay, you're right. You can't come in.
Basically, what he's saying is, I'm not going to be on your side. I mean, that in a nutshell, he's basically saying that, I'm going to be very upset if you let these two into the country. Look, in my personal opinion, this has nothing to do with the comments they've made. Hold on a second. Now, hold on. In my opinion, this has nothing to do with the comments they made about Israel. And I think it has everything to do with the comments they've made about Donald Trump. These are two women that do not like Donald Trump. If you don't like Donald Trump, if you turn on him or you say things that he doesn't like, he is going to come after you, and this is the appropriate way to do it. Send her back. Go back to her country. Well, and then when they want to go...
They've made poor statements about Donald Trump and Israel. Since the United States and Israel and Donald Trump, the leader of the United States, and Benjamin Netanyahu, the leader of Israel, are allies and friends, that's not going to work, and that's what Donald Trump is proving right here. I don't have an issue with what happened.
I think he's proving what he always proves. He's thin-skinned, and he wants to go after anybody that disagrees with him on anything or might say something negatively about him. This is absolutely ludicrous, in my opinion. It's another example of Donald Trump misuse of power as the president of the United States. We'll take some phone calls on this. We'll go to the GCI guys' phone line. The number to call, 702-257-5396. Again, that number to call is 257-5396. What do you think about this? Do you take my side on this one? Do you think the president once again overstepped his power getting involved in this situation between Tlaib and Omar? as Israel says, nope, you can't come in the country conveniently within 24 hours after Donald Trump goes on Twitter and makes public comments, basically going after Israel, saying, if you guys let them in the country, you're weak. Or do you take JD's side and think, nope, this is fine? The president just exhorting his power as the president of the United States. We're taking your calls, 702-257-5396. Again, that number to call, 257-5396. I think this is a very serious issue, and we want to get your thoughts on this one. And let's start off with Ron. Ron, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. What's on your mind?
What's up, Ron? Don't scream.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing
great.
good. What's up?
Well, I'll tell you what. You know what? My opinion is these two women, they are, number one, complete Muslims, and all the Muslim religion is to destroy anything that is not Muslim. They will cut your head off, Brian.
Whoa.
Cut your head off.
Okay.
Do you understand that, Brian?
Ron?
Brian, I understand. You just made a statement.
Ron,
You never read.
Ron,
So give me a
Ron,
chance to
Ron,
talk.
Ron, you
Give me
just...
a chance to talk.
I will give you a
Don't
chance
cut
to
me
respond. I'm not cutting you off.
Otherwise, you're going to prove
I will
everything
let
I'm
you...
saying.
Ron, it's not your show. We're going to have a discussion.
No, it's not your show, but
Ron,
it's my opinion.
Ron, let's
It's
talk.
my opinion.
Ron,
Stifle my opinion, mister.
Ron,
You're worse than
Ron,
a damn Nazi.
would you like to have a conversation, or would you like to yell and scream? Okay, so now give me a chance. Now give me a chance. Ron,
with me.
Ron, just give me a chance to respond. Okay, pot him down. Pot him down. Pot him down. Pot him down. We won't hang up on him, but the guy won't shut up. So we'll just pot him down. First of all, he just said, see, this is the problem with some Trump supporters and some racists. He just said that all Muslims want to cut people's heads off. Do we realize what a racist statement that is?
I would say that's more culturally ignorant than racist.
Well, the man is an ignoramus. He's a dummy.
That is definitely an extremely ignorant statement.
To
I agree with
to think that all Muslims are hateful people, to think that all Muslims want to cut people's heads off, makes you a complete buffoon, and you sound like you have an IQ of 20, Ron. And go ahead and pot him up, because I'm sure he hasn't shut up yet. Ron, Ronnie, do you know how to listen? Did you not take your medication this morning, buddy?
You're the one that don't know how to listen.
I wish you would move and go back to Afghanistan.
You won't give me a chance. to
Ron,
explain
when you called in today, I specifically said, please
He's
don't
gonna talk
scream.
over you.
Opinion.
Ron, I hope you go to Afghanistan and live in a cave, because that's where you belong. Have a nice day. Have a nice day, you nut job.
Hey, Ron, great call.
What a nut job. 257-5396. I want to have a conversation, but you just keep screaming and talking over me. And one of the first things you say is all Muslims want to cut people's heads off. You think I should let him keep talking, folks?
And if you don't let him keep talking, then you're complicit in it.
Yeah.
And it absolutely makes that ridiculous statement 100% true.
I mean, what should I do? If somebody
That
starts
is sound logic, Ron. Very sound.
If somebody starts a conversation talking about African Americans and uses the N-word, should I let them continue? You don't want to let me talk. He just said that all Muslims want to cut people's heads off. Do you know how ridiculous that statement is? 257-5396. Let's go to Chuck. Chuck, what's going on?
What's up, Chuck?
Yeah, hey guys. What was their mission? What were they planning on doing over there anyway? I'm not.
It is their job on the oversight committee to go there. That is part of what they do. That's part of their job. It's part of what any congressperson's job is. Whether they disagree with the policies of Israel or not, they should be allowed to do their job. That's their job.
But do you know what in particular? Were they promoting trade? Or
No, they're not. They're not going over to their promote trade.
The Constitution.
No, that's
their oath says defend, protect, and preserve the Constitution.
Right, I understand that. But as I said, they are on the oversight committee as Congresswomen in the United States of America, and it is part of their job to go there.
They didn't take any, Republicans with them, fellow congressmen.
Well, Republicans go there all the time, Chuck. They don't have to take...
It seems funny. They're always together. There's no mix, partisanship.
Well, I can't talk about who's traveling in the same bus. I mean, I'm not going to comment on that. Republicans go over there, Democrats go. They don't have to go together. They go when they please, Chuck. I'm just trying to state that I think this is a very dangerous precedence for the country. Listen, if Benjamin Netanyahu made this decision on his own, which clearly he didn't, but if he did, I wouldn't have had that much problem with it as I do now, because Donald Trump has reared his orange head into this conversation.
You can't say that he didn't make the decision on his own. Obviously, he made the decision. Donald Trump
not on his own.
Donald Trump doesn't have the ability to make that decision. No. But did he factor in his ally and friend's opinion? Yes,
JD,
he did.
I'm sorry.
But he made the decision on his own. Donald Trump can't pull that. He cannot pull that trigger. Just like Netanyahu can't pull any triggers here.
Okay, I disagree. Are you aware that Israel's stance 4 days ago was that they were allowing them into the country? Did you know that?
So because he changed his mind, that's 100% on Donald Trump?
Within the same day or two, when Donald Trump called them weak and went after them, yes, absolutely. Chuck, I appreciate the call. If you just look at it, I mean, the evidence is right there. Their position was they were allowing them into the country even though they disagreed with their views on Israel, and then Donald Trump stuck his head in the mix, and then all of a sudden Benjamin Netanyahu says, nope. Again, that number to call is 257-5396. Let's go to Alex. Alex, what's going on?
What's up, Alex?
Hey, good morning. Good show.
Thank you.
Are you the gentleman that hosts the show, Mr. Shapiro?
I'm sorry? Can you repeat that?
I've got the names mixed up, maybe, but whoever the host
The
is,
very handsome young man that's sitting across from me is J.D. Sharp. He is my co-host.
JD.
Yes.
I'm familiar with JD, but anyway, the gentleman that just spoke up, what is your name? I really appreciate the show you got going.
I
That's really-
appreciate it. People call me a lot of names on this show, but my name is actually Brian, so you could call me whatever you like.
Okay, Brian. Usually, I've been listening to your show, and 90% of the time I'm opposite of opinion from you.
Yeah.
But at least you're pretty respectful about this political stances with people, so I appreciate that. But anyway,
Sure.
Going back to this situation with the two ladies that were going to go to Israel, I agree with JD completely. I happen to be Hispanic, and the reason I bring up that name, that I'm Hispanic is because when you come from a foreign country, I'm very convinced that we all have different opinions than people that are born here and don't have any access to opinions from outside the country. It changes everything. Those two ladies, if I'm not mistaken, they said some pretty crude things against Jewish people and Israel. And I think that whether Donald Trump opened his mouth or not, and I'm a Donald Trump supporter being Hispanic, by the way, it doesn't really matter to me because the ultimate decision is going to have to be Israel, whether they let him in or not. I think Donald Trump is just not a politician, and that's what I like about Donald Trump.
So can I ask you a question? A man of Hispanic descent. I'll hear you out on that one, and I think it's an interesting conversation. But a man of Hispanic descent, when Donald Trump says these Mexicans, they're rapists, they're bad people, and I suppose some of them are good people. I understand Donald Trump is not a politician, but don't you think he takes it a step too far when he makes comments like that?
I'm very happy you brought that up. 2 points. Before I forget, thank you for bringing this up. I am absolutely convinced. I wasn't born yesterday, but I'm tired of hearing, and it's not that what you just said, that what I'm about to say is wrong, but white people are not the only racist people in this country.
I agree.
And in the world.
I agree.
We've got to make sure that when we say racist, we cannot jump to conclusions.
I didn't use the term racist. I just said he said that Mexicans are rapists and bad people, and I suppose some of them are good people.
Did he actually say the term Mexicans? I don't think he did.
Thank you. This is my second point on what you just mentioned. I invited approximately 10 Hispanics, approximately 2 months after he made that comment. Prior to those 2 months, I was disgusted with what Donald Trump had said. And the reason I was totally disgusted was because on Univision and on CNN and ABC, they only talked and showed what Donald Trump what you just mentioned about Mexico sending rapists and thieves. However, a friend of mine said, have you seen the whole clip? I said, no. Go to the Internet. He told me, and I went and looked.
And so did I.
Just a few seconds before he made those comments, and I showed this to 10 Hispanics later on, Donald Trump says, what I am about to say is may not be true about you or you or you. When I showed that piece right before Donald Trump said about Mexico sending rapists to these 10 Hispanics, 5 of them right off the bat said, how come Univision, which is a Spanish media, huge Spanish media, said, why does Univision not show us that? And I said, because they like to manipulate
But Alex,
news.
Alex.
And guess what? No, and I agree with you. But guess what? They started to analyze this whole Donald Trump racist situation. We came to the same conclusion. The reason Donald Trump is hated so much by Hispanics is because this is probably the first guy who has brought out into the open. And I know you don't like the word invasion, but as a Hispanic, and my wife's from Mexico, she believes it's also an invasion. People in Mexico, family members that we have spoken to, they say it's an invasion, except it's an invasion from Central America into their own country. So I think we're just playing games here.
I don't think we're playing games.
People come here because they're poor and whatever.
All right, hold on,
Alex, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you identify as an American or an Hispanic American?
Well, I grew up here, and as my wife said to me, you're an American. And she was the first person, and she's from Mexico. She said, you're an American because you grew up here.
Alex.
You love this country, and everything you say is pro-American.
Last question,
really
Alex. I want to, because I got to get to some other calls. The chant, send her back, telling these 4 congresswomen to go back to their country when 3 of them were born in the United States of America. How can you defend that rhetoric?
Well, I don't defend that because I understand Donald Trump sometimes really goes off the deep end with certain comments he makes.
Yeah,
100% true.
But in general, as I'm going to finish this off real quick. In general, I work with a lot of Hispanics, and a lot of Hispanics hated Donald Trump until I showed them a lot of information, and now they realize that Donald Trump is not a politician. He may be a narcissist and a jerk, but guess what?
All right.
Almost 7 out of the 10 that I showed that video 10 now
I understand.
Now like Donald Trump.
All right,
Thank you so much.
I understand.
JD, have a good one.
Hey, thanks, Al.
Point
Great
taken.
call.
I will say for the record, I am not Hispanic. I am whiter than white, and I also hate Donald Trump. 257-5396. Let's try to squeeze in one more call. Thank you, by the way, for the call, Alex. I appreciate your perspective, even though we do disagree. Let's go to Carl. Carl, what's going on? I got about a minute, Carl.
What's up, Carl?
Hi, Brian. I'll be real quick. I've talked to you before. I'm a retired psychologist.
Yes.
I just want to say the first call you had, I think his name was Ron,
Yes.
would be a great poster boy to support mental health. But
Carl, we agree on that one, Carl.
yeah, okay. As far as this Israel thing, Trump loves Netanyahu. Am I wrong? Isn't Netanyahu under subpoena for some corruption and for some other things?
He is not exactly, he's not exactly the cleanest guy in the world. And you know what, Carl? Another thing that we should talk about, he is up for re-election and he needs votes. Keep that in mind too, Carl. So that's a valid point. Carl, listen, that is a very, very valid point that you brought up.
One other quick psychological point. Trump, and I know you love him, is the biggest case of he's got an inferiority complex I've ever seen.
Yeah. Thin-skinned.
I can prove it. You don't have time to prove it. But his inferiority complex,
it's the worst. He's one of the most insecure people you'll ever meet in your life. Carl, very good call. I apologize. I'm up against a break. Let's take a quick break. I'll be back right after this. You're listening to The Vegas Take on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM KDWN.